Hello, good evening, and good welcome indeed to Xbox Tavern's X-Pod Tavern. I am Captain Jamie, and this week I'm joined by Graham, MPV Graham specifically. Hello, MPV Graham.
Good hello.
Good hello to you. Are you well?
I am very well. Yourself?
This is good. I am, as always, spiffing. We've got 1.5 million man in. Come on, 1.5 million man. I feel like we need. Hello, are you good? Well, you got a bit of techno going on behind you there.
Woo party! I've got a new microphone as well.
Go along with a dubstep. New mic, new lights. Same old Ian. What's wrong with that? Scott Scruffross, come in as well, please.
Hello,
Scott Scruffross. You've got something on your nose there. Have you dropped a shelf or something?
Just a little bit, yes. We'll not mention that too much. It's lucky it's on the other side of my very large nose, so you don't see it on the camera. It's fine.
That's good. It's hidden away.
So I angled it that way.
Well, welcome again, Xbox Tavern's X-Pod Tavern, episode 125, which we record each and every Sunday, 8 p.m.
Ish.
That was a good
Lady Ian-ish.
I love my mistakes now. I'm sorry about that.
Delay. So welcome. So we're going to talk some video game news, Xbox mostly, obviously, but maybe a few other consoles as well, and games we've been playing. But we're going to kick things off with something a little bit different. We do a segment on the show called Project Game Pass, where we pick a game from Game Pass, we play, we talk about it, and we give it a sort of unofficial verdict. However, this time we're going to go a bit more serious, a bit more in depth, and we're going to make this our proper Xbox Tavern review of Exoprimal, because we've all been playing it over the last week, played a couple of nights together. I've been playing a little bit on my own. I think Ian has been playing a little bit on his own as well. I'm not sure about the other guys. And we thought we're going to have a long discussion about it. We'll give it a proper hardcore rating to go up on the website, and you can go and read the verdict and watch the video clips and stuff over there as well. So, gentlemen, this is going to be a review, I suppose, of Exoprimal, a new game from Capcom on the Xbox consoles and Xbox Game Pass, obviously. General gist of it is 5 players in a team, killing lots and lots of dinosaurs in waves, racing against another team who are also doing the same. And then by the time you get to the end, you either end up fighting against each other, or occasionally you end up working together to fight a big boss. But I don't think we've tried any of them end rounds yet. There's loads of different rounds that sort of randomly assigned here. A dozen or so different classes to pick that you can change to and from in games, and no need to sort of preload any classes where you can just mix and match as the situation suits. And I think it's fair to say that we've all had a pretty good time with it so far. Anyone want to kick us off?
Well, you're the captain. You're the man with all the MVPs, so it's only fitting that you should take over.
MVP.
I mean, obviously, it probably helps that I'm about 10 or so levels higher than the rest of you. But, I've got to take the wins where I can get them. So, yeah, like I said, I've been playing since last Friday, pretty much 1 or 2 games at least every day, often more. And then we played, was it Tuesday? It was about 2.5 hours roughly?
2.5 on Tuesday, and then what was it, 2.5 on?
Yeah, another good few hours on Friday night as well. And we'll kick off with obviously the main attraction is the actual gameplay itself. And I think it surprised me with how well it controlled. Like, I was expecting maybe a bit more sort of weak gameplay, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't, from watching some of the trailers, it didn't look like there was going to be much to it other than just hold down the trigger and just run around and spray everything. But there's a bit more depth there, and also I can set things on fire, which is always a good start.
Fire!
My
favorite character. It's non-stop. It's hectic, but it's never so much so that you can't still keep your bearings. Excuse me. So Ian, you've been playing it probably, I think, most out of all of us, apart from me. What's your thoughts and feelings so far on Exoprimal?
I think it's a good, solid game. I think it's probably the most fun I've had co-op-wise shooting since. Like Overwatch days kind of thing, maybe with that, and like maybe Rainbow Six Siege when we used to play back in the day. Just feel like a sense of actually working together, kind it helps a lot. And I think it's just more like the gameplay's fun, like, especially because obviously I'm mainly healing. But with some of the healers, you can actually do some damage or actually help out rather than just be healing. Like, for example, if I'm the witch doctor, I can stun loads of enemies. That kind of slows them down a bit to make them easier pickings for you guys.
And what was the character you were playing as the healer? I can't remember.
Witch doctor.
It was Witch Doctor. Sorry, yeah. And did you find that they had a decent broad range of healing abilities? Because there was one character who healing bit. I can't remember the name. Skywave or something. Fucking useless.
Yeah, Skyway has a healing base where your trigger is healing, and then you really can't do much. What else you can kind of? I don't know what else you could do really with him or her.
I think
But
Nimbus
was a fun one.
It's like a nice fun bit in the middle because she's got she can switch it. It's got a cooldown, but she can switch from between our guns being offensive weapons or
defense.
activate it. This then turn into like sort of healing type idea. So you shoot your own teammates to heal them. So I quite like Nimbus. I'm not the best at healing. I'll hold my
I
hands
seem
up
to
to that
got
right
that
off the
nailed
bat.
down quite well from my obviously Mercy Overwatch days.
Yeah.
So I kind of understand where you need to heal, when you need to switch.
Yeah,
It
Nimbus
does help when people stay near you when you need to heal them.
Yeah, Jay.
Well, I was in the
Getting them
second.
in.
I didn't know what a green circle was for a few hours.
Running away from it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there was only the four of us, so we did end up playing with a random who that was a bit hit and miss whether they would stick with us or whether they would just fuck off and try and do sort of solo runs and make it 10 times harder than it need to be. What about yourself?
It's difficult when they're samurai because when the samurai they have to go really close up, and when you're healing the people behind you or trying to keep the tank alive, because that's the one you kind of want to focus on keeping alive because they're the one that takes all the aggro usually.
Whoa, is that dig at me now?
No, because you usually do keep the aggro. Technically, it was a dig, but no. But you're right, taking the aggro. You're not as bad as others.
I tried. I gained as much aggro as I could.
Yeah.
And then you finally realised how the shield worked.
Even though you realise how buttons work, yeah.
No, only my power. But then I realised that my final movement bit didn't even make sense because it said right trigger to fire it, but I barely let my finger go off the right trigger most of the time. So I don't understand that the finishing move is any bit I haven't really fully worked out yet for Krieger. But I mean, I haven't really explored anyone else other than Krieger, the kind of the tank. And I think this bit is where the game really sort of flourishes. It forces you to sort of at least have one of each of the kind of the three kind of areas of a healer, sort of like a damage dealer and a tank. You need to have at least one of each of those bits to really sort of have any chance of sort of winning.
Yeah, and it does tell you as well, doesn't it? It's like your team lacks a tank or your team lacks a healer.
Yeah, because you really you notice it quite clearly.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed before when I've done about you guys when I've done a few matches on my own, and it's like everyone's just all assault and it's me healing. I'm not changing. I'm just constantly healing because all of them are taking like damage. And it's like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
If there's a tank here, it'll be all right because the tank will take all the damage and then they'll just be killing stuff.
Yeah.
On that first day, like the Friday when it come out, I played a couple of games and there was no healers at all. But because everyone was still fairly new to it, it didn't really make much difference. And then I played, Saturday, Sunday, and even just one healer made all the difference in the world. Because if you didn't have one, we would just get absolutely fucking spanked left, right, and center.
I think the healing's quite strong though in the game as well because I noticed when Ian sort of put his sort of healing down with that guy, my guy's health sort of came up really quickly. So it goes to show you sort of the difference it can make.
Yeah.
So
and the overcharge as well, like buffing it, so you've not just got your basic heal, you've got like a massive shield as well going on.
Yeah, that's basically what I focus on. I was healing. I was making sure everyone was overcharged. If someone got down off overcharge, I'll focus them to get them overcharged and health again. Yeah. That's how I kind of focus, and that helps you because obviously you see a green bar, they're fine. If you see it starts in a white bar, find them.
Yeah, time to jump into action.
A combination of that and every kind of move is valuable in your arsenal. Sort of, you don't have many of them. It's like kind of like 3 or 4. You got your main sort of right trigger weapon. You've got your Y attack, and then you've got your bumper ones as well. But every single one of those serves like multiple purposes, and it's just usually like you kind of spam your most attack ones, and something gets left behind. But each one of them is quite valuable and has a bit of a cooldown, so you kind of have to use the other ones to sort of make up to sort of buy you time until the other ones become available again. Yeah. Like even like I have a dash move, which is like I've been using to get out of trouble, but I've noticed that you can use it to stagger the enemies, or even sort of like the bigger ones, you can kind of stun them a little bit. That buys you a little bit of time as well.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
seen
it's
some of
like
the
every
one-
move has multiple purposes.
I think as well, if you kind of get those, I can't remember what they're called, modules, that's it. You can kind of change some moves as well. Because, like, for example, I've got a massive jump button thing. If I use that, it gives me back one area effect healing. So if I do one out of them, I can literally just do that dash jump and then do the cone straight away because that helps. Again, it gives you a bit more to your arsenal when you start leveling up.
Yeah, I was surprised, like you saying, Greta, how much I was relying on like the full suite of the bumpers because I had as Barrage, he's got like a set of mines he can fire down, which are really powerful and they set everything on fire, but they only charge every like 20 seconds. And in between that, then I had like a little cannon fire, a dodge, which, like you said, exploded. So it also set them on fire, which you can upgrade to make it even bigger explosion. And then just a stun grenade as well, and just bouncing back and forth between them. It was almost not even hard to keep on top of, but it was just like almost rhythmic, like, right, stun button, okay, now cannon, okay, now mines, okay, now dodge, okay, now back to the stun, and just going round and round, like just getting into the flow of the action, as it were. Ross, what character were you using mainly?
I was Deadeye. I think that's the character I've probably put the main amount of time in, which is as much as your generic type all-round assault. Isn't particularly specialist in anything. He just does what he does at a very even rate.
Yeah, so there was, like I said, I think there's 4 in the assault class, isn't there? There's 3 tanks, 3 healers, and the final ones on each tier you need to unlock. We were very graciously provided codes for the special edition, so we got early unlocks all the characters, and one of the ones in the tank one, Murasami, I think his name is, the ninja.
Yeah.
He was incredibly powerful, but like Ian said, if I was using him, it was hard to get me healed because I had to be right up close getting in the action. But yeah, the rest of them are the ones that I've used. I haven't used them all, but the rest of the ones I have used have all felt different enough to make it worthwhile sort of
having a wee nose in
experimenting a bit rather than just being like, I just want to stick with one because the rest are rubbish type thing. They all had their perks and bonuses, and the only thing I wasn't a big fan of in that was each character obviously levels up as you use them. So if you then, like Barrage, for example, I think I'm level 18 with him now out of 20, I think it goes up to. But then if I go to a new character, I've got to start at level 0 again. And granted, it only sets you back, a small amount of damage and a small amount of perks and stuff. But it's still, do I really want to leave this character I've buffed up and go for a weaker one at this point, or should I just stick with ones I know? So it'd be good to sort of mix it. If you're going to play it from now on, I'd, try and mix it up evenly, at least to start with, until you've got a favourite you want to build up. But in terms of the gameplay, obviously, the characters are well and good if the modes are no good. And there's only one mode really. What's it called? Sorry, does anyone remember the name of it?
Revival, I think it is.
War Games!
War Games. Sorry.
So we just blew everyone's ears up there. So War Games, and the gist of it, like I said, you start 2 teams of 5. You don't interact directly, but in between waves, you can see where the other team is. So they'll show up in like a red outline. And the idea is to sort of race to the end. And that may include...
That's about a 1 loss on the screen, boss.
Well, it's just the whole clip, so...
Yeah, so if you're watching now, we're watching the gameplay we recorded Friday night, sorry. But yeah, I mean, we did well, I think, but...
Just the 1 loss, which is the one we just signed.
Yeah, we got a couple of
cut that
losses.
one out.
We mainly won. But yeah, so the waves themselves, it varies. Again, it's random a selection, but you might just be killing 100 raptors, or you might have to chase down a triceratops or a T-Rex, or you might get one of the later game ones where 1,000 dinosaurs spawn from the sky and just
that's
fucking
fantastic,
swarm you.
that mod.
And I mean, it looks spectacular, but it's also a lot of fun to play, and it's also, again, not overwhelming because everybody's got their certain powers. You can take out 10, 15 dinosaurs at a go, and it only takes a minute or 2 to get through the full 1,000. And then obviously once you've
even
done
as healer,
that,
I could do some damage as well, which helps.
Yeah, and the healers, like I said, I think their stunning ability is probably the more useful aspect because it slows them down. Or I think one of them, again, I forget which character, sort of freezes them in place, so you've got a few seconds just to smack the shit out of the T-Rex when he's sort of stuck in midair with his little arms going. So you get through that. You do however many rounds it is, 5 or 6 rounds, I forget exactly, and then. But in between each round, the AI Leviathans, that's Zordon / fucking David Bowie says, Either you're going faster or slower than the enemy team, and even I mean, no matter what he says, chances are there's like 2 or 3 seconds in it at most. It's really generally really tight games, and you get to the end, and then it's one of a random selection of final rounds, such as transporting the cube or capturing like ABC points. There was a couple others. There was one to do with another capture point or some. I forget the exact rules of it. Does anyone remember?
Or what? Sorry.
Oh,
There was another example
King of the Hill
trying to
one.
capture. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was it. Sort of King of the Hill style thing.
And there was dominate. There's one like domination style. There's
Yeah.
one where you had to kind of beat the person to do an objectives.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and there's a couple that I was looking on the website that we haven't done yet, including one where the two teams like team up against. They call it a Neo T-Rex.
Yeah,
and
seen
spawns
that.
are just a massive fuck off, dude. I haven't seen
Oh,
that
that
yet.
would be fun. I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. I don't know how they work out who wins because if you're both teaming up, I guess who
I
does
presume
most
it'll be the
They
ones
both
that do
win.
the most damage.
Yeah,
That or you both win because it's like a maybe it's a
Oh
story
yeah,
level.
yeah, it could be because it's probably gonna be fucking rock hard. So it's gonna need some good
Everyone's a
teamwork between
winner.
the two teams, and you get to win, and you get to win. But yeah, I mean, probably my only criticism in terms of the gameplay itself at the minute is that
Main menu.
although it's fun and short and relatively quick to get through, it does get quite repetitive until it starts to introduce some of the bigger stuff, which requires you to have played a good few hours before you even start to see the T-Rexes or any of the other really big dinosaurs that pop up. I think there's 3 maps at the minute. And they've said there's more coming, but they all feel a bit too similar for my liking. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, the maps are. I think it's very much a similar sort of area. I know there's like the ones that are a wee bit more open, but it's very much like I think there's the one that's like a harbour type idea where you've got all the shipping containers.
I get time 4 or 5.
Yeah, you've got one that you're going like through the middle of the streets that cut through. I think is meant to be like a library or a museum type idea. So there's not like 7, 8, 9 different maps that you'll explore through, but I think even in the same maps, they sort of go down different routes of the same map, so you're maybe not always seeing the same thing over and over.
Yeah, and sometimes, like you said, you'll start on the left-hand side of one match and the right-hand side the other, and you'll work different ways around it.
And you think you're going to know the route because you've been on this map just around before, but instead of it takes you like down the hill instead of like through the museum type idea. You're like, shit, you've already committed.
Yeah. Everybody's trying to mad dash, trying to beat the little whatever it's called, the messenger dude who's
Watcher.
leading you
Is it
around.
Watcher?
Thank you.
Yeah, follow the Watcher.
And you're like, which way? Which way is he going to go? This way? Oh fuck! It's got another one.
Shit.
Run! Turn around! But yeah, I mean, I think it's just because it's so simple. It's a lot of fun, but it's also a couple of hours that we played is probably more than enough to play in one sitting before you move on to something else. It's got a bit more variety. And also, again, you get new dinosaurs later on, which we haven't seen every single one yet. But if I have to see any more fucking pteranodons, I am going to lose my shit. Because those
Depends when you get the random name ones as well.
You love a pteranodon. Who are you kidding?
It's the only one I can't hit easily with barrage because it's like grenade launcher just sails past.
You love a pteranodon.
But yeah, that and the velociraptors and the carnotauruses and the does anyone remember the fucking bulbous headed one's name? I've forgotten already.
Oh,
Pachycephalosaurus.
Yeah, something like that. And then we've got your on screen. You got your Ankylosaurus, and then what was the other 2 that we've had? The Carnosaurus, and then who did we get last
the
night?
T-Rex with the Triceratops.
Neogenosaurus.
Neosaurus was a sniper last night. I was like, what the fuck is this?
So there's decent variety later on, but yeah, especially to start with, it feels a bit rinse and repeat, like the same fucking thing over and over and over again. But I think overall, it's a lot of fun to play. I've very much enjoyed just playing on my own, but especially, like I think you guys are probably going to go with, it was a lot of fun with the 4 of us. Admittedly, if we'd had a full 5, it probably would have been that tiny bit more unreliable random teammates. But yeah, I think it's a lot of fun so far. What about everybody else? Are you enjoying it? Are you going to carry on playing it? That's probably the main question.
Well, yes, I definitely think I will be. It's probably one of my top 3.
Yeah, no,
games.
Yeah, I'll definitely be playing more. And I think with the I think with the Deluxe Edition, does that not give you access to one of the future story DLCs or one of like additional content that's getting added in as well? So
Yeah, it comes with something. I know it gives us whatever's in season 1 up until I think the end of October, something like that. As well as a few head starts and buffs and perks and stuff. I suppose one thing we sort of touched on it, we didn't really get into it, was the mods, what they called, Ian? You said them earlier on. Are they called mods?
Oh, modules.
Modules, sorry, yeah. So do you want to explain what they are and where we go with them while I look at my notes?
Yeah, sure. So, sorry. I was watching the clip. I was like, ooh.
Ish.
Ish. No. But yes, the modules basically, they're a good way to, you've got 3 different modules and they can kind of increase your character strength. I know for the ones like, for example, my one, I can do a bit more damage with my electric shock and also stun them quicker. I've also got ability that if I do my dash jump, I gain back a area effect heal. I think the other one is I take less damage. I take less damage and I move quicker when I go under 40% health. So again, it's all those kind of little modules and perks that kind of help you long run. Obviously, you can level them up as well, 1 to 5, which you can use from the currency you get from winning matches.
And there's a good dozen or so to pick up as well, maybe you can.
It's a big list, and then you can.
There's some that
max at level 5.
Yeah, max level 5. There's some that are class only.
Yeah,
there's some that are worldwide.
Yeah,
I mean, I think
there was in Barrage one. In slot number 1, I could equip whatever it was called, something to increase my grenade thing, but I couldn't equip it in slot 1, slot 2 or 3.
You have to unlock it in slot 1 first before you can.
No, that's what I mean. It wasn't showing up on the other ones.
I think there's some that only work in certain slots.
Yes, so so my one there for like my special with the sort of frag grenade that launches out. Like, so mine's it starts as like a traditional grenade launcher arc, so you have to like aim it above where you want it to go so that it drops down into the area. That is only in slot 1, and then my slot 2 is like my generic one. So how long it takes me to start like regaining health, and then how long it takes me to like my cooldown for the rest of my abilities. So they're in my other 2 slots, but then my first one's like almost my special attack, and that unlocks all the benefits for my specials.
Okay, yeah. So there's a lot to sort of dig into and customize each character. Again, the only thing you need to do before you start a match is fiddle around with these modules, because once you're in the game, you can bounce back and forth between suits as often as you want. Change it up, see how the moment takes you fancy. But yeah, again, that sort of put me off changing to some of the other suits at times, because I knew I hadn't bothered with the modules for them. So I was like, well, I'm going to be underpowered and fucking even less handy than I already am anyway. So yeah, but it's worth checking them out. Anyone else got anything on the actual gameplay itself? Any thoughts and opinions on that before we?
I actually really like how it looks. Like the exosuits are awesome. The dinosaur models are awesome. Even like the actual maps are good looking maps. Yeah,
it does. I think someone said it sort of got a bit of Titanfall style aesthetic to it.
That's what I said. Yeah, the Titanfall feel maps.
And the maps, the way they're laid out and stuff. It's not. I mean, it's not the best looking game I've ever seen, but it's certainly not a bad looking game. I think if
you play them, just playing the X.
I think it's good. It's just it's
I think it's not 30 60 FPS.
Oh no!
It definitely is.
Oh no!
It's not 1080.
I think
I don't know what it is. What is it?
I think the way the dinosaurs just sort of evaporate, it would have been pretty cool if you had like a mound of fucking dead dinosaurs before you moved on to the area next time.
Oh god,
that
would piss me off. That would piss me off more than anything else. Dead dinosaurs push them.
Trying to wade through a mountain of dead dinosaurs to get to the next area.
You can't get through this corridor.
Yeah, you're on your own in that one, Jamie.
Yeah. Especially with a mission that's 1,000 raptors you need to kill to move on to the next mission. For fuck's sake!
Like the rats out of like Playtale, where it's just a massive.
Like this bit here with 1,000 raptors coming out of a tunnel.
Just to pile that up, you can't get through the tunnel.
Oh, you're necrophiliac. Calm down.
Whoa! Whoa!
Yeah, Gene.
Oh dear, I don't know where to go from there. Graham, you sound like you were going to say something before the inside accusing me of war
as
crimes.
we were touched on before, my only issue kind of is that the everything's always really close up until the final bit. That the steps leading up to it almost feel like padding. There's no kind of special bonus to sort of get in there a little bit first, and then once it's in that final stretch, that's kind of where the real kind of thing happens. So I just feel like they need like a little perk, like for finishing that bit first, rather than saying like you get a head start, because that head start is almost negligible. It's only ever sort of a maximum of about 30 seconds, and that's quite easily made up in the final stretch.
Especially when they get the big dinosaur first.
I don't think we got anywhere near fucking 15, 20 seconds.
But all they can do to circumvent that is just to say, you finished your section first, so you get an extra bonus to your XP or something, and just have that bit instead. It's all battle pass worthy anyway, so why not have that boost instead of a head start, which is almost negligible. It almost feels like the first couple of rounds are just padding. You're not actually achieving anything. You're just practicing. It's almost like you're playing a tutorial every time.
It's almost like you're just trying to keep up with each other, though, isn't it? But then it's not difficult to remain within 2 or 3 seconds of each other, unless
that's what I mean. It just feels like padding.
Random teammate. But I guess we didn't really touch on the actual end. But I know we mentioned what they were, but I do enjoy how, like you said, great. Once everybody's in, that's where the real action begins, because you're fighting the dinosaurs and you're fighting the other players. And the moving the data key was my favorite one, just because once everybody got so close together, because the data keys end up in the same place, it was just fucking specials and dinosaurs and explosions and guns and swords everywhere, and it was just hectic, like carnage fun, and it was easy to sort of flip the balance of the match in that last little section, even if you've been losing all the way up till then.
No, I need to say the last one that we did last night with the Omega Hammer, that last section of the game was was excellent.
That was immense.
How we won that as well.
Yeah, that was a mystery.
Defended that fucking hammer like a boss. They had that 100% for a good 40-45% of that game, and they still never managed to finalise it.
So do you want to lay out the rules of that last round before we carry on?
Yeah, so basically
how awesome we were.
So basically on that last one, you pick up what they call the Omega Hammer, and you need to charge it to 100% by using it to sort of kill dinosaurs, but you can't just swing it willy-nilly. Like, you use it and then you need to power it back up again until you've got it up to 100%, and then you can use it again. But there's 3 checkpoints throughout the map?
There's 2, and then the final one.
2 in the final. So to get through the checkpoints, you need to use the hammer. So even if you get to the checkpoint and it's not fully charged, you still need to try and delay the game to try and get the hammer charged up. Use that, get through the checkpoints, and then one final mission where pretty much the game ends up on top of each other. And it's basically both teams trying to get to their 100% of the hammer and then activate the final sort of beacon type idea. And we, like I say, the last 45% of that game, they had their hammer at 100%. We didn't get our hammer anyway. I think we got up to 97% with our hammer.
Yeah.
But we made them drop their hammer so many times for the fact that we just kept on managing to attack wave after wave that we got awarded the victory. I need to read into the rules for that game, like how we
it was given the how we won. But I think we ran out of time, but we must have done way more damage because, again, we were just smashing the shit out of them, stopping them from activating the hammer.
I think it must have done. It was on score because it must have been on score because we had more score than them. That's the only thing I could figure out. Was when I looked at the leaderboards, we had more points compared to that team.
And, that's stuff like that, especially that particular round as well. Because I've not done one of them, but we've actually got to the end yet. And it was just carnage. People using their specials, like the 2 teams just clashing over this one central point, as well as fighting fucking T-Rexes and Carnotauruses and fucking Pteranodons and all sorts of crazy dinosaur shit. Like you said, I understand what you're saying. Like the early rounds are almost not pointless, but like
it's just padding.
There could be either a better reward for coming
just
first,
finishing first,
or,
like I said, just that,
or,
just
or even a bigger delay. Like, you still finished it, but you still got to wait another minute to get in, or another 30 seconds to get in, rather than just coming in 2 seconds later.
I would want that because that kind of kills the end game buzz a little bit. I still want that end bit to be sort of close to sort of really sort of put it up to it. I just want some sort of XP bonus, a reason to do it. Otherwise, it's almost pointless it being there.
You need more. Give you some more bitcoins. The
Well, just
in-game
that, 'cause
currency.
the only way it's going to help is if your team is that bad, it takes you a really long time. But I don't think we've ever been any further than sort of. I don't think we've even been a minute behind anyone. We're usually ahead of most of them, but
Yeah, most of them ahead. I
behind
think
us
very
was
rarely
like
were we.
a minute.
Yeah, I think the longest time we were apart was no more than 15 seconds at most, and that was I think we were ahead of them before the data key. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, the only one I think we messed up on was the one where it was 1,000 raptors falling from the big building because we failed that. And they were ahead.
and then once Graham figured out how his shield works, that would have made that a lot easier. But we got there. We got there. But yeah, like I said, I think
to
overall,
utilize it, not how it worked, just how to utilize it, and the fact it stunned the bigger ones. I didn't realize that bit.
Yeah, so there's lots of tips and tricks to learn throughout the game. But yeah, I think overall, again, thumbs up for me on terms of the gameplay. Yeah, could do with slightly less repetition and, like Graham said, a bit more oomph to the beginning section, maybe. But
I can imagine that they'll bring out loads more game modes, like actual proper PvP from them off.
Yeah.
It's kind of these modes straight away rather than doing all the padding. I wouldn't be surprised if in a couple of months' time they'll have just that mode where you just.
Yeah. Well, I mean, speaking of updates and things to come, how do we feel about the live service stuff? Because I think generally none of us are really big live service type game people. I know we've played a fair few of them, and I'm a big fan of Fortnite, but I don't enjoy the live serviceness of it more than the gameplay. I mean, let's start with the menus, Sui. The menus, fucking shit. Absolute shit. They can properly get in the bin, Gray. They are awful. So,
yeah.
They need to move away from these mouse and keyboard style menu type ideas because they're fucking awful.
Yeah,
that's what they're going for, weren't they?
Skim around, and I don't think they're laid out very well. They've prioritized making it look nice with the characters in the background and all sorts of funky visuals, but the tabs are laid out dreadfully. The way you interact with doing the modules and stuff, I was forever pressing B by mistake and coming back to the main menu when you don't need to press B. You just sort of click between them and just move on. And trying to navigate the analysis map and all that sort of the menus are fucking shit, but they're exactly what you'd expect from a live service game, like full of fucking temptation to buy things and skins and upgrades and they call war chests today you get.
Yeah.
I don't think you can buy the war chest though, can you? That's quite good.
No, but underneath that is a big banner, even though we've got the special edition saying, would you like to buy the special edition? Would you like to buy the season pass? So, well, I mean, I didn't buy the game anyway, so fair enough. But if I had, if I bought it, it'd stop trying to get me to fucking spend more money. And yeah, I don't think there's a store in the game, like, other than obviously to buy the season pass, but I don't think
I don't even think with the skins you can buy them. Like you can use your coins and then it takes you to the Microsoft store to try and buy the rest.
Yeah. So it's not like Fortnite, for example, again, just fucking chucking loads of shit. Oh, shiny thing. But I imagine that's probably coming, especially if this does kick off, because I think it's done pretty well for itself so far. Is anybody else tempted to try and complete the battle pass or to try and keep leveling up for it, or are you just going to keep playing and having fun, and if you level up, you level up?
Yeah, I think that would be my sort of thing. Like I'll definitely keep trying to play the storyline. If by playing the story I mean I complete the battle pass, then fantastic, but it wouldn't be like the be all and end all if I didn't complete it, as long as I was keep playing the story.
I have no idea what the story is, but I'm just saying I just kind of want to keep playing in it and see what other
that is one good thing
to have.
That's one good thing I do like about it, and it's just to touch on like what Ian was saying, like no idea what the story is, because the way we've been playing it, we've just been sort of battering out levels left, right, and centre. That you can actually go into the analysis centre and re-click on like past events that you've completed, and if there's a cutscene attached to it, it'll replay the cutscene. So if you did want to pick up the story, even playing like on a multiplayer session like what we're playing, you can still then go back and see what you've missed by just skipping through it to get into the next game.
And the few I have watched have been all right. I mean, again, it's no Resident Evil level storytelling, but I mean, it will do. It's had a few funny moments, and the acting's not too bad. But obviously, I haven't actually gone back and Ace. Apart from Ace, as we discussed last week, who's just fucking wet blankets.
Yeah, all the visual expressions, and then he just sits on it.
Just a nod.
Come on, Ace. Yeah. So, Gray, any thoughts on the battle pass? I know you're definitely not a fucking battle pass guy. So
No.
is this tempting you in any way?
No, it's just echoing the same of those. So I'm happy to play sort of multiplayer with you guys to sort of plow through the kind of the story bit and sort of find out about the story, and then whatever you unlock, you unlock. I mean, don't get me wrong, some of the skins look quite funky. I mean, I quite like my playing card look on Krieger, but
That's a really cool skin.
I mean, but they're quite few and far between, sort of the decent kind of skins. Some of them look pretty cool, but like I said, I mean, it goes quite fine tuned down to the charms. Anyone who's using charms and gets excited over charms, you know, you have issues. No one.
I must admit, I clicked on the charms and I was like,
how
did these go
small
on
are they?
on
Sort of
the
how
gun
can you
or
even
something?
see them?
No, they sort of go on the back, didn't they? I was like, have I got?
Just
I put one on.
dangly.
I didn't even notice it. I forgot all about it.
I'm
mean-
going to sit silently in the corner and not indict myself here.
I mean,
Come on, Ross,
yeah,
we're all
even
friends here.
the emblems or whatever on the side, the decals, whatever
Yep.
they're called.
Yep.
They kind of ruin the skins.
Nope.
So I was like, no, I don't want that there either.
And you
So
can't see
the
him
skins, I
unless, apart
understand,
from the final area, like when your team is sort of facing the camera after the match. You can't see him anyway.
Yeah, it's a bit
Go on,
weird.
Ross.
Like,
Ross,
massive,
drop
like,
yourself in it.
No, I'm a big one for emblems. Like that was one of the things I really enjoyed about Borderlands 3. Is like you could put loads of emblems on your gun. You could change like the weapon skin and then put like loads of emblems at different parts of the gun and things like that. So yeah, I'm that guy.
And Ian, sorry, I'll cut you off there. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I said that emblem. I was kind of agreeing. Like the emblems just make them. You don't even notice them, and they make your skin look a bit ugly, like a massive fucking Spartan helmet on your ass. That doesn't look good.
Another wee thing that we've not touched over, just as I remember seeing it on the gameplay there, I do like for the fact that Leviathan responds back to your previous playthrough.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like if you get your ass handed to you, he'll dig you out basically saying like you performed poorly in your previous game, need to get better data from you, or if your team had a particularly good healer, Ian, shout, he'll go out and say the healing in the last game was exemplary. More of that going forward, that'll give you great data. So it's quite good that it refers back to your previous game.
You helped. Yeah, it's good. It kind of gives that bit more motivation. A bit.
Yeah,
Like, oh yeah, I did do that.
I do like that.
It's a nice little touch, especially because I think it even carries over in between like our last session, and if you play the next day, you'd be like, your last game, you did very well indeed. Carry on,
Yeah,
get us more data. So,
get you
all
G'd
right,
up for the next section.
all right, you big sexy blue bastard. All right, don't worry, I got you covered.
You big, sexy, wee bastard.
Blue.
Sorry, I think you said
Blue.
me.
But yeah, I
You
mean,
Scottish
yeah.
bastard.
Again, back to live service stuff. I mean, it's not offensive, but it's also not exactly inspiring. I don't think. It will just work our way through it and unlock stuff as we go. Yeah,
I think
nice.
on the live service thing, the big, not a criticism that I've seen is if this had dropped as a pure live service Fortnite type game, free to play, but battle pass, skins, everything else you can like spend money on to earn money that way, I think it would have got a lot more love. But the fact that they expect you to pay £40 as the game and then it's still got all your live service elements, that's a bit of a sticking point for some people.
Yeah, I must admit, actually, I hadn't even really considered that because it is a paid game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's on
that's-
Game
it's
Pass,
Game
but you have
isn't
on
it?
PC
Yeah, so
and
we've got a
PlayStation,
Game
you have to pay
Pass,
for it.
but that's one of the things I've read about it, that had this came just as an out and out Fortnite type idea with they don't have to pay anything to play it, but you've got all the things you can spend money on in game, that's fine. But for to have that element and then £40 on top of it seems a bit much for where it currently sits in regards to what the game offers.
Yeah, no, I think that's a perfectly valid point because I'm trying to think of the last game that tried this. There was another game a few years ago that tried to force you to buy it and then stuffed it for the microtransactions. And I think it eventually, whatever it was, I forget the name.
Was it not
eventually went
Avengers?
free to play. Do you know what? It might very well have been Avengers, actually, yeah. And obviously that didn't go very well for
Yeah,
it.
that shot the bed.
I mean, yeah, I didn't like Avengers, but I feel like this has got a bit of a better base to build off just because it's simple
Yeah.
fun, whereas Avengers was trying to be a bit too big for its fucking boots.
I mean, I think like I say, the best thing they could do is switch it to like quick, not right off the bat, but within 6 months, switch it to free to play, and then start building on it. And that I would think you'll see quite a bit of popularity behind it, because as a game, taking out all your cost elements and things like that, it's a great multiplayer experience. It's a good single player experience, but it's like we're saying, we'll get far more enjoyment out of playing a multiplayer than you will single. So if they expand that to more people by making it free to play, cross-platform already, so dropping it on PlayStation free to play, obviously being Xbox get the benefit of it being in Game Pass. If you give them it as a free game, then you're going to see your player count spike because it's got your cross progression and everything in it.
I wouldn't be surprised if it goes free to play soon.
Yeah, I
After
suppose
couple
the only
of months
thing
or so.
with it not being free to play is maybe, like we were just saying, that the live service stuff, the battle pass is there and stuff, but it's not as egregious as Fortnite, where it's not shoving full of shit that you can buy. It's just got a few things that you can buy, which again is not ideal, but it doesn't seem as predatory, I suppose. Or even like Fall Guys. Like some of the Fall Guys, just there's adverts everywhere. Buy this, do this, pick this up. Whereas this is got that one window down there, and like I said, you can buy some currency and stuff, but it's not overly doing it too much. But
I also think as well, does it give you much else, or just mainly skins? I guess you get some coins quicker as well, don't you?
Yeah, you get some coins, and you get the
so you can buy modules more,
skin unlocks and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, so I think, we've been going for like 40 odd minutes on Exo Primal at this point. Has anybody got any final thoughts they want to wrap up, and then we'll give it a quick score and we'll move on to some other things?
Want to play more? That's all now.
Yeah, I'm kind of want to say that tomorrow night at about 8:30 we should get another group together.
I could be down for that.
And I think that's the biggest compliment we can play it before we get into like official scores and things like that, is we can all hold our hands up and say we've maybe been a bit guilty, as there's a game that's came up on Project Game Pass and we've sort of went, they don't really want to spend tons of time playing this, but we'll play it because it's Project Game Pass and we've put our time into it. Whereas this, we're all actually really wanting to jump back in and get another session set up to play it.
Yeah, I think it's the first game that we've actually managed to get 2 sessions in 1 week.
And it's not even 2 small sessions.
Yeah, 2 long.
Yeah, it's
two long
like 2.5 hours. I think Project Winter Days, wasn't it?
Yeah, Project Winter was probably the last one that we really all thought was fantastic and wanted to jump in and make sure we were playing. I'm trying to think of other ones that we had like the one night that was really good with Forza, just with like the chaos and shit like that. There was a little bit of Second Extinction. I think we all managed to get on.
Rainbow Six as well. Siege.
Yeah, Siege is always solid, but I'm trying to think of any other ones that we had.
I suppose the only other close might be Killer Queen Black, maybe.
Killer Queen Black, was probably another one that we all thought was fantastic.
But
none have really hit this level.
Yeah, like you said, it's definitely something that we're going to stick with, I think, and play more, even once Project Game Pass is done. Obviously, come September, that might change when we're playing.
September, nobody's playing anything.
It comes out September.
But I don't know, some sort of spacefaring one, I think. Something to do with
StarCraft.
Star Wars.
StarCraft, Hades edition. Gray, you got any final thoughts on Exo Primal before we wrap up here?
Just they need to keep bringing sort of different game modes out, keep it fresh, and maybe eventually give you a bit more options, because obviously at the moment you can pick between the 3 kind of different game styles, or PvP, PvE, or random. Maybe you can dive a bit into that to sort of pick the one that you're more interested in, whether it is sort of carry the cube to the end bit or that hammer one, so you can actually pick the kind of type of play you want to sort of practice it a bit more. That'd be nice. Have a bit more variety in it.
Mode kind of thing.
Yeah, just so you can do that, or just match up against other people that like the same kind of ones, because some might be better than others, and then it kind of gives them some feedback to let them know what the most popular ones are, to know which ones to develop.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. We'll see. Again, obviously, I mentioned they've got many plans. The season 1, like it goes to the end of October. I think they've already announced season 2 and 3, maybe. So yes, they're going to be supporting it for a while. So who knows? We might get some of the changes we want. Probably some of the changes we don't want. But yeah, that's that. So should we give us some scores, and then we can snap this book shut until we play some more tomorrow?
Booyah!
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go to. I'm going to work my way down the screen as I've got it. So Scotch Gruff, do you want to give us a rating out of 10 for us that we do on XboxTavern.com?
So single player, I think I gave it 7.5. I can't remember. I'll get my scores up just now. Yeah, I gave it 7 for single player, and if you're playing it multiplayer, I would give it a solid 9.
Nice. Okay, and Ian, Milliman Ian.
I'm just going to go straight score, nothing special, 8.5.
Very nice. So some high love so far, Graham. I think we've ended up on roughly the same page. But do you want to go first?
Yeah, I said about a 7.5. It's not perfect, but it's still a pretty fun game to play.
And I think I'm gonna sit right along with you at a 7.5 for me as well. So we'll average that out. I don't know if one of you want to do some quick maths, because I am not a maths man. We'll average that out.
I'll work it out.
That will go up on the website. There'll be a little conclusion as well as a clip to this video and the video we were talking about where we played the game for many hours and had a lot of fun with it. And then once that's
we just say it's 8-ish.
Yeah,
It is
I like
about
that's
8-ish.
good. That's good. I like that. quick bit of 8-ish.
About 8 point, yeah,
Maybe
like
that's what we should change it.
8.1.
Official
8.125.
Sounds right.
Okay, we'll go with an 8.1. There you go. So Exo Prime will get from the official Xbox Tavern's X-Pod Tavern crew. Gets an 8.1. Again, that will go up on the website, and you can go read the conclusion and watch the videos and look at the pictures and why not read some other reviews while you're there? That'd be wonderful. So this has been our review of Exo Primal. Thank you very much for watching / listening. If you're watching the podcast, stick around because we can discuss a lot more video games. And if you're not, then go and find the podcast and watch it. Goodbye.
Leave it.
Okay, right. Thank you. That was a little experiment. That was good. I enjoyed that. Maybe we should do that a bit more often, especially with the Project Game Pass games.
Are you looking forward to the 6-hour podcast when Starfield comes out?
Yeah.
I still think we need to.
It might even be a podcast hiatus when that comes out.
Yeah.
I still think we need to do things. We're all four of us stream it and get on the podcast, and we'll just talk and play and just see.
Yeah, exactly.
Just go all night long. But we
Trying to tell the Wi-Fi I need a third monitor. I was like, because I've got the show up on one side, I've got my notes up on the other side, I've got Starfield up here. So it's a necessary evil.
She's got to understand. You just got to tell her, look, I'll put your shelves up. Now give me a new screen.
Damn right. I fucking injured myself, broken nose, black eye, and I need a new screen.
All right, so should we get into some other games we've been playing then, gentlemen? I know, again, we went very long on that one, which I very much enjoyed, but I think if we go for a quick game each, let's go with Scottish Gruff first. Why not?
I've only played Exo Primal this week.
Oh, good. All right, that's a good choice.
I'll go quickly.
Graham. Go on, Ian. Sorry, go on.
I say I've only played 2 games, and I would say loosely played. One is free to play called Trackmania.
Oh yeah.
So is Trackmania the one that you see like this super awesome like gameplay of them like flying through and like clipping the side of ramps to spin the car around to land on a different bit? Yeah, that game was cool as fuck when you see like the professionals design the tracks.
It's one of those games you think, oh, that looks easy, and then you try and do it in controller. Oh yeah, this is not easy. This is a fucking pain in the ass.
So does it not translate went to controller?
It's kind of transfer to controller. It's not easy. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, some of the maps look fucking incredible.
Yeah, I say it's fun gameplay, but it's just especially when you do the track of the days and stuff, where you've got to be precise to get the gold medals. Yeah, you've got to make sure you're braking at the right time and throttling at the right time, and not braking or making sure you skim this wall just to get the gold medal. So you could be doing the same track of the day for 15, 20 goes until you actually get it right. So yeah, it's insane amount of precision you need to have, and you can obviously it helps when you watch the ghosts. So you can have especially the track of the day, you can do ghost mode, so you can follow the ghost, so you kind of see what kind of line they do and what kind of line they take. Haven't done much of the career mode and the race mode. I've mainly just been doing track of the days and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's a fun little game, but difficult as well. It's not the easiest one to pick up and play.
Yeah, I think I tried some. Oh, 2 years ago, maybe. I think just as it was
that Trackmania Turbo.
It might have been, yeah.
Yeah, that's the
and it was good because I liked it, trials and all that sort of stuff. But I just couldn't really get into it properly, so I should give this a go. That's properly free to play. Yeah, so
obviously you can buy a season pass, and that gives a tenner. But it's a season pass of the year, so it's a year-long season pass. And that gives you more track of the days and more accessibility. It's a game for some of the free stuff, but really. £10 if you want the full experience.
Fair enough. Very nice. And is this for your Chivos or is this just for you?
Both.
Both. Ah,
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, really good. No, actually quite like difficult, but fun difficult. Like you get a sense of achievement when you actually where you actually do when you do over and over again, and you're like, I finally did it. Yes, got the gold medal. Went to the next level. You feel like a bit of satisfaction.
Very nice. Very nice. Good. Nice bit of Trackmania. We love it. Maybe we should play that someday. Who knows? We always say all these games. We never get around to it, but one day, maybe one day. Right, Graham. I just remembered what I'm going to keep your suspense going because I want to build up the suspense for the big reveal you're talking about with your.
It's going to be
tricks.
Right.
So I'll jump in quickly. I would talk about Pikmin, but we're going way too long. Just suffice to say, one sentence: fucking amazing. It's very close. I didn't think it'd be at a top Zelda, but it's fucking awesome. Maybe not quite Zelda level, but I've been having the best weekend ever. It's been awesome. I'm not playing it anyway. The Xbox game I want to talk about though is a game called Maquette, which came out on Game Pass on Thursday, I think, on the 19th, and I played it for review. And it is fucking awesome. So it's a first-person puzzle game, much in the vein of Superliminal or Portal or stuff like that. But the idea is, if you're watching the screen now, you see that sort of dome-shaped building. You go within that, but then there's a small version within that dome of exactly the same sort of surrounding area. And also about behind you is a much larger version. So it's basically like Russian nesting doll type idea of you got a small one, a bigger one, a bigger one, a bigger one, and you got so on and so forth. And everything you interact with, on one of the versions affects all of the other versions as well. So the very first puzzle is picking up a red block. There's a massive red block that's blocking the doorway. You can't move it, but if you go to the small one on the table, you can pick it up, move it, get out of the way, and then the one in the massive one that you couldn't move is now out of the way, and it's where you've put the small one. And they use this it's not a simple in terms of technical, but it's simple in terms of the explanation. You sort of say what you see kind of thing. They use it really, really well throughout. It's about 4 or 5 hours of gameplay. There's 4 or 5 different areas that you traverse over the course of the game. I won't spoil the later ones because they get really good, but each one sort of takes that concept and twists it again slightly. So what you've learned in the first world, although you'll use that sort of concept as a base, they sort of add to it in smart ways without being like, here's some fucking stupidly hard thing that you're never going to figure out. It's just, yes, it's sort of perfectly paced puzzling, really. And I just, it was awesome going from, like, I'll call it the base world because where you're sort of human size, and you can go into the larger world, and all of a sudden, obviously, you're like tiny, sort of Honey, I Shrunk the Kid size, and seeing everything in sort of super grander vision, and then the audio changes, and you can hear, if you drop the block in one thing, you can hear it like thudding in the distance, gradually getting quieter as the larger and larger blocks hit the ground and the sound reaches you. And yeah, it's just fucking perfectly paced. I didn't want to stop playing it. I think I got through it in 2 nights, and yeah, just really, really smart puzzling. Not as, I wouldn't say it was as good as Portal, but it's definitely up there in terms of Superliminal, Superland.
There was Game Pass, didn't it? You said
it did come to Game Pass. Yes, I highly recommend checking it out.
The
story's pretty good as well.
About it.
It's quite effective in terms of the story they're telling, and the actors are really good. But generally in these sort of games, I'm not really bothered about what's going on. I just want to solve some puzzles. But I must admit, by the end, it got me a little bit in the feels, just a little bit, and then I was like, nope, I'm back to solving different size puzzles now.
You're back to having your Pikmin following you.
Yeah. And I suppose the only other thing really on that is, again, like I said, what happens in one version happens in all of them. But you can take the small cube, for example, from the small on table and bring it to the big world, and then that'll spawn an even smaller version on the table, and vice versa. So there's one puzzle later on, which again I won't spoil too much, but it involves duplicating the same item and making it gradually bigger each time. But then it gets so big that you can't pick it up, so then you need to take one of the smaller items back and like redo it to try and get it to a point where you can carry it and it fits in this specific hole. And it's very, very clever, very, very clever. But again, not too clever that they're sort of like, haha, solve this fucker. Oh, I can't. It's too hard. Yeah, on Game Pass. Highly recommend it. And the use of music as well. You know, I love a bit of music in video games. Oh, amazing. The soundtrack is incredible. I don't know who the artist, so I haven't had a chance to look it up yet, but absolutely fantastic. Like the way they use the songs they've chosen. So yeah, highly recommend. I think I gave it a 9 on XboxTavern.com.
High praise.
9-ish. Yeah, really good. So highly recommend that. I'll go on Game Pass. Anyway, we've teased it. We've made them hold on till last. Graham, you've been playing a bit more Fallout 76, but with a twist. Will you please enlighten us?
It's not a twist.
I'm ready. No, it's the greatest invention as anyone's ever come up with. And Graham's.
No, that's what I mean. I've been playing Fallout 76 on my Xbox X, which was because it's quite a large kind of installation. It's about 80 gig, so I had to have it on one of my external hard drives just because it was taking too much space up. And just I noticed all like the intermissions and the sort of going between houses or fast traveling just was chugging a little bit with loading speeds. And then I noticed that when I had it on my S, it was connected to like an external hard drive, but my external hard drive was like it was a makeshift one of a solid state drive I sort of took from work and fashioned into a hard drive. And the loading speeds on that were just immense. It was, although it was attached to an SSD, but it was an external SSD. It wasn't internal, and yet the load speeds were almost like it was installed on an internal sort of console hard drive. Yeah. And then, so I thought, okay, so I said, okay, I'll put it against the fastest thing. I'll directly installed it on my X on the actual console itself. I was almost tempted to say the S was quicker. And the read speed was quicker on the S through my external SSD drive. Playing through it, just the load speeds were just between the different doors and everything else were just so quick. I was like, it's only because I noticed how quick it was playing it on my S. I was like, I'm gonna have to install this directly on my hard drive now, just because going in between it's like, wow, it just changes from about sort of 30 seconds to about 5 seconds to go between places. That's incredible, but that's on an external hard drive. I was like, why can't they just do this with like Series X games? If as long as it's attached to like an external SSD drive, the speed times are just not that noticeable. And I was like, I think they might be missing the trick by sort of doing this. I know they're kind of wanting you to buy their expansion slots to sort of get the most out of it. But if you can get in the exact same insane read times from sort of an external SSD hard drive, then I can't see why that you wouldn't be able to play sort of Series X games off those, because the read times are just as quick.
Yeah, so Fallout 76 isn't Series S and X enhanced,
no.
Whereas it's just because I think Digital Foundry did a test not long after the console came out, something along the lines of you're describing. Like they had a solid state one, they had a regular hard drive external, and then obviously the internal ones, and they did all sorts of tests, and they did find that the SSD one external was like rapid fast, almost as fast as the internal, like you're describing. I guess there's something to do with how they work, that they don't want to allow you to do external ones without the official technical mumbo jumbo going on.
Yeah, well, that's all it can be, because the read times on it were just incredible. So I was like, I just recommend, like, because even if you have like a normal sort of external hard drive, then if you try playing an Xbox One game through that bit, it's a bit of a slog. So I wouldn't recommend doing it that way. I'd suggest sort of switching, like transferring it to and from that to do it that way. But playing it from an external SSD hard drive, it's almost like you're playing it directly on the console. So I'd say if you have sort of Xbox One games you do play regularly, but you don't want to hold them onto the internal one, just invest in like an external SSD drive and store them there, because it's almost like it's playing on the internal.
I think they're fairly cheap as well. You can get I think a 2 terabyte Seagate for about 40 quid, as opposed to the official 1 terabyte SSD plug-in one, which is about 200 quid.
Yeah, so I harvested from my old work from like really old laptops, just like 128 SSDs, just harvest them out, and you can put them in a casing and turn them into a USB hard drive that way. So I had 2 of those, and yeah, super quick.
Nice, very nice. So tips and tricks there. Did any of you guys had any experience of external SSDs, or have any of you got the official memory card? And
I've
used
never
that?
felt the need to actually invest in anything. Like I play the games that I play, and it's not usually a massive. Don't have a massive catalog of games installed at one time, because if I'm playing a game, I like to play that game to completion, and then once I've completed it, then I don't have to have it installed. So then I can uninstall it and just install the new game that I'm looking to play. So
Fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah.
What about you, Ian? Have you? I suppose you're the only other one with an S, I suppose. Aren't you? So do you use
Yeah, I've
much
got
of
both.
this?
No,
Yeah,
I
I
say I just literally reinstall games as I need be. Very rarely would I need to think, oh, I need to install the game. Especially now with Project Game Pass, with Game Pass being cloud. If I want to drop into a game, I can just cloud play it.
and I think the other thing is like with your remote play as well, not your remote play, but like your remote download type idea. Like if I decide I want to play a game and it tells me how much space I've got on my hard drive and I want to play it, I click my remote play wherever I am, and by the time I get home, it's installed, ready to roll. So therefore, I'm good to go.
Nice. So Graham, you've entered the world of Xbox tips and tricks now. So I need videos every day of new ways to play, new ways to move on. But you're still enjoying the game, though, yeah?
Well, put it this way. When I spoke to you last time, I was only around sort of level 12, 13, 14, I think I was. I am now level 48, which shows you how much I've put into it. It's
yeah,
so much fun when you get to the
you've been
high
digging into
levels. Yeah. But it just, the community in there is quite fun as well, because a bunch, like, although I've seen people at a level 1,000 and 117, and you're thinking, how?
Yeah, you play
Seriously.
nothing else other than this, and it's like you come in at 5:30 at night and play it to 4 a.m, and then that's it.
But the way they've done it, where you set up your bases, like you can sell like things that you don't want to other players. And so occasionally I visit other people's areas because sometimes they have plans that you can build sort of better equipment or mods for your guns and stuff. So it's quite good to sort of scout some of those out. And I bumped into one of the guys that was there, and he offered to upgrade the main gun I've been using, which has been saving me for the last couple of levels. And then, yeah, he took it, upgraded it, and gave it back to me, which was very kind of him. And then gave me about 17,000 rounds for my gun, so I don't run out of ammo anytime soon. So
Awesome.
that was kind of a neat boost. But it was just cool. He just kind of randomly did it off the cuff. Thought that was quite cool of him. So
I know it doesn't really
kind of
cost him
nice
anything, but that's still pretty decent. I mean, usually you find someone, they shoot you in the face and steal all your stuff. So it's nice that you gave it to him. He buffed it, gave it back, and was like, "Here you go and shoot everyone else."
This
It
is
was quite
Fallout. It's not
trusting
Rust.
as well. It was a little bit of trusting, because if he didn't give me that gun back, I would have been in trouble.
You were fucked.
So
I'm going to give you all my
talking
power armor and all my fucking weapons so you can fix them for me. I totally trust you're not going to then just shoot me in the face.
when you're
I was on
talking to these
pacifist
guys,
mode, so he can't fight me unless I fight first.
Yeah, there you go.
is it are you doing like voice chat, or is it text
No,
chat?
just like emoticon kind of thing. I just sort of, if I go into them, I always give him a thumbs up just because they're sort of, I'm buying plans off him. But he just sort of got my attention, gave me a thumbs up, and then he started shooting the ground. And then I realized he dropped some stuff for me. He dropped like loads of plans for me to use. And then I thought, okay, I'll stay out. And then he sent me a message saying, if you drop your gun, I'll upgrade it for you. And then he said, what ammo do you use? And then he just dropped me a load of ammo as well. So yeah, pretty cool.
But like, as G was saying, like that, I know it's not currency, but like to that guy, it's probably like pocket change. Like he's probably got like 150,000 rounds of every ammo in the game.
Exactly.
And he drops you like 20,000 to a gun that he stopped using like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't even have to bother, though. That's the thing. He just didn't even have to bother to do any of that.
Yeah.
That's what we want. We want to promote that sort of thing. We should have.
As you play games like DayZ or Rust, guys that have played it since the day it launched and have got like fucking massive superstructure bases, sit and wait on the beach for everybody to spawn in, and the guy picks up his rock and it gets blown up by a guy with a 50 caliber rifle just because I can.
Just because I feel like being a dick. See, that guy is the epitome of hashtag be nice, you cunts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's
obviously a fan of the podcast, and he noticed the name "Be Nice, You Cunt." He went for it.
I did have a bit of a mishap though, but the game didn't really warn me, and that was in setting the bases. It shows you like you can unlock some of their terminals, or you can sort of like unlock something, I'd like to get some of their pure water where they've got sort of purifiers and stuff. I sort of just did their terminal just because I leveled up high enough to be able to unlock their terminal. But by unlocking their terminal, I alarmed him and he came over and started hammering the hell out of me. I tried to run away, but he caught me and just pelted me. I didn't realize that that was an act of anger by unlocking their terminal. I didn't even get anything from the terminal. You don't even get any useful information, but that was a big mistake, which, I only needed to learn that one once before I got rinsed. Don't hack people's terminals.
Important thing is you've learnt it. So did he kill you then, or did he piece it out?
It killed me, but luckily I didn't lose anything. You don't lose any of your loot. If you die out in the field, you kind of lose stuff you've been picking up for like the last hour or so. So you have to get back to it and re-pick it back up. But if you get killed by another opponent, it just looks like you lose a couple of caps, and that's about it. Okay. So yeah, bit annoying, but yeah, getting well into the kind of the story now, and just starting to get a bit good where you start making decisions about which faction you want to sort of side with to do certain missions. And yeah, I've buffed up my power armor a little bit, so let's get into the exciting part of it. So, and there's still tons of content I ain't even got a chance even to go to yet. I think once you hit level 50, it starts to really kind of open up a bit more.
How sad is that, though? You hit level 50 and everything starts to open up. What the fuck do you mean it opens up at level 50?
Well, it's like you get a legendary perk to apply. You can fly on the vertibird to go to like the pit, I think it is, to get some sort of ultrasight ammo and stuff. So that all kind of opens up at level 50, and some of the sort of the top level guns are level 50. So it kind of seems like that's like the main top cap point, and everything else is just kind of extra.
One of the things I really do enjoy about it is I don't know how it still works in the current day and age, Gray, because it's been a while since I've jumped in, but you can collect nuclear codes so that you'll find players setting off nuclear warheads.
Yeah,
it gives you a rough idea where it's going to be.
Yeah,
and see going in not right into the area because it gives you like a blast zone type idea, but sitting in an area that you can see where it is and just watching like the nukes come down, and then when the nukes come down, they start spawning in like really high level enemies. You get like Scorch Beast and things like that.
It's not just that as well. You have to go into that area to pick up the mutated sort of vegetation, because that's what you use to sort of like build jetpacks and extra bits for your power armor.
So it's like that sort of whole risk reward type idea. Like you need to do it to get to the better stuff, but at the same time, there's a good chance that if you've not got the stuff to do it, you're going to get rinsed.
Yep. But I'm in a good place where I'm not getting super rinsed anymore. The only thing that keeps rinsing me is the fucking Mr. Handy robots who's got a flamethrower. It's almost like I'm playing with Jay. Every now and then I randomly die and I don't know what's happened. And suddenly I'm being set on fire, and the fire just kills you within seconds.
Well, what you don't know
in my
is
power armor.
I'm playing Fallout 76 lately, and I've got a So, all right, one more question then for you before we move on.
Yeah.
Do you reckon you'll have it done before Starfield? You got just over a month.
You can't have it done.
Yes, but it's not something you can have completely done. But I reckon I will be able to get to a point where I'll be happy to sort of leave it by. Yeah. I think once I got to a level 50, I think it will start to sort of peter off a little bit. All the main quests will just be like extra side quests to sort of get better loot and stuff like that. So yeah, once I get to that kind of point where it's kind of a rinse and repeat kind of thing, just to get high level perks, then that's probably when I'll call it a day. But I think I'll get to a point where I'll be happy to sort of let it go. But at the moment, it's sort of well and truly hooked. Yeah, till the next one hooks me.
Yeah, well, we've got roughly six-ish weeks before we've got to worry about that yet. But nice. Okay, well, we've been going on long. We've talked about Exo Primal, which was awesome. Some games we've been playing, I should say. But now I feel like we need a bit of a break. I mean, Scottish Gruff Ross to give us a good, solid plug-in. Please do the honours.
Things you love to hear. Patreon.com/Xbox Tavern. If you want to come and support us with your hard-earned money, it is greatly appreciated. You'll get to see all our After Dark segments. Our last week's After Dark, which featured a very, Very enjoyable. 20 questions,
Very
repeated
lengthy as well.
over and over. It was the longest After Dark episode, but it was a great enjoyment to record it. So you can go and jump over there and hear our 20 questions. Have a wee nosy, see if you can work out what it was quicker than we did. Drop a wee comment to say, I got it in X, Y, and Z amount of time. Apple and Spotify podcasts, if you jump over there, review us 5 stars and leave a wee comment underneath. It helps massively with our exposure. It gets us into more people's ears. Written reviews can be found at xboxtavern.com. Jay will have a list later on in the show with reviews going up or have been going up the last week. Socials are all on the screen at the bottom there. You'll find us in some way, shape, or form on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, some variation of Xbox Tavern or Xbox Tavern Official. Discord, jump over, shoot the shit with us. It doesn't have to be gaming related, it can be anything. If it wants to be gaming related, there's a gaming channel over there. If it just wants to be everyday random stuff, drop in, shoot us a wee message. Also got the guest the game. Jay's spamming everything just because he knows he's shit.
In one today. In one.
Fucking
Yeah,
a triple one today. Thank you for the 3 I put in there.
In one.
I haven't done today's one. As I said, I've been rather busy, hit myself in the face with shelves. But I was, well, I shouldn't be shocked at the one like a few days ago where Jay, me, and Ian didn't post his score, but I'm presuming we finished it on 1. We got it on the first one, and Gray got it on like the 5th, and then I realised what game it was and went, oh yeah, that'll be why Gray didn't get it on the first one. Fucking Assassin's Creed.
No stealth. I don't mind Assassin's Creed. I just got to keep guessing the wrong one.
All right. So yeah, we've got to guess the game channel. It's very much became a battle between like all the hosts just to try and see who can kick Jay's ass. But him being the oldest means he's got.
They're not doing very good so far. So
well,
come and join us. See if you can. See
when basically when you're the same age as the dinosaurs next to Primal, I mean, you've got a bit of a fucking advantage over us, haven't you?
I mean, I've got no retort to that. I'll accept it.
And last but by no means least, the wonderful people over at Insert Coin. If you use Xbox Tavern 23, you can get £5 off orders over £50. We're all big fans of the Insert Coin stuff. Jay's rocking the stars. Fucking there's a surprise it would be Resi Evil. My eyes are too shit, so I can't see it. It looks like
Black
a lantern on the other side. Amazing stuff. I think Jay, you said you were picking up some. What was the Tammy that you were looking at the other day?
There's a Last of Us.
The Last of Us, that's what it was. Yes,
and they just put some new Gears stuff up as well. Actually,
that'll prick my ears up.
Well worth a look. I think they put some Yakuza stuff up as well, Grace. Some new Yakuza stuff recently. They're always putting new stuff up, and they've also teased some more Shenmue stuff. I'm putting it out there. I'm believing it in a reality. Can you imagine there's Starfield stuff? I mean, it's got to come through, surely. They've done quite a lot of Bethesda stuff in the past, so
my bad balance is going to take a kick in.
Hopefully they do a beanie because the fucking official one's sold out now like a bastard.
You should have bought it the day it launched.
I should have bought it when I had the chance.
I fucking told you, you prick.
I should have done it. I looked on there yesterday and I was like, oh, son of a bitch, that's dog. But it might come back. Who knows? But anyway, it's not Insert Coin. Insert Coin will do some decent clothes, I'm sure, and we'll check them out and we'll wear them on the show when we're playing Starfield again.
Yeah.
So all right. Thank you very much, Ross. Thank you very much for a good solid plug-in. Gentlemen, let's get into a little bit of news, shall we? Before we
speedy news, quick hits.
This week's after. I mean, there's not very much going on really.
It was a slow week in the news.
When my phone wants to load the fucking page up again, is some of the old Call of Duty games have resurfaced as some of the top sellers and some of the top play games on there. So we've got Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 3. Activision have done something to do with the servers on their end to sort of make it less full of cheaters and hackers and a waste of time playing. And they've suddenly shot up the charts. They've added, they haven't added. Sorry, I should say they've just fix something, and all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, let's play these old games again. I know we sort of joked in our sort of private chat, but has anybody in here actually gone back and checked out any of these yet?
I haven't went back. I would probably jump back in for like the zombies. I did enjoy it. Like, I'm not a big Call of Duty like PvP type idea gaming, but I do like the zombie maps. I like the fact that it's not something that everybody plays for, but I do like there's a story behind it, and like there's the Easter eggs and everything you can complete in the zombie type idea. So I don't mind those type of ideas. The campaign on some of them are fantastic. Like the Modern Warfare 2 storyline was outstanding. The more recent Modern Warfares have had like the more cinematic experience with our campaigns, so they're always solid in that regard. It started to get a wee bit weird with like Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare or going into space and shit like that, but the old school ones were top tier campaigns. So I might go back in and jump into something like that. Especially like I was reading a few comments and stuff like that, and like once the merger goes through and everything's sorted, could we even see something like a Master Chief Collection idea for Call of Duty? Like a legacy pack of all the old school CODs put into one big bundle that you get access to, and you can go and play like the old things, but it gets like the same treatment that MCC got with you hit a button, you can see like the old school, and then I'm not saying do a full remaster, but you can get like it maybe runs at 60 frames or it's been like upscaled to 1080p. Would you like that be something that people would be interested in? I think anything that's to do with Call of Duty is going to make money for Microsoft.
Yeah, especially if they chuck that in Game Pass and, like you said, had all of the maps just in one rotation rather than having to bounce between games.
Yeah,
like Master Chief. Yeah, I think that could that could do very well indeed. We'll see.
It's mind blowing that like 10 at one point Black Ops 2 had 10,000 people playing. Like on an old school fucking 360 game, and Modern Warfare 3 had 7,000 people.
It's just yeah. I mean, Graham, I know you're very keen to obviously go back and play these old Call of Duty games.
You can't wait.
Yeah, Graham, you love it.
I did-
shotguns.
All right, well,
I did see a
fine.
tweet earlier on just before we started that a similar thing has happened with the old Gears of War games as well, Ian.
Yeah, that's just
Gears
happened.
1, 2, and 3. Yeah, their servers have sort of relivened. I don't know whatever the word is. So they're back up now, and they're again proven to be popular. As old games would be.
No one cares about Gears.
Yeah, I mean,
Everybody
we'll
cares
see what
about Gears
happens.
multiplayer.
Again, once the acquisition finally goes through, fucking eventually at some point, I'm sure we'll see yet another big surge, and hopefully a load of people playing Singularity. But I've banged that drum many, many times.
Hopefully, Microsoft decide that what they need is a new StarCraft, and they bring out StarCraft 3.
Only because then you get the quiz questions right.
Booyah!
So
not playing Game
I mean, yeah, don't bring.
I'll be a
just
week
before
early
I
with
say
Game
that.
Pass. It's fine. In fact, it wasn't even a week early. What was it, like 48 hours early or something with the fucking Game
Something
Pass?
silly, yeah.
Because
something
we got the
silly
early
like that.
access because we fucking had signed up for it or something. Idiots.
So yes, that was sort of like the main news that happened at Xbox this week. Again, other than Activision Blizzard nonsense, but we don't want to talk about that again.
Not again.
Some quick hits really for you. If anyone wants to chime in with anything, feel free. Arkane Austin, the guys who made Redfall, are seemingly returning to single player projects.
Probably a
following
wise
the
move,
release
isn't
of the
it?
game. I think some LinkedIn posts were looking, or some job adverts were searching for people with experience in single player immersive sims, as they should be. No more
Dishonored
Redfall
again.
nonsense.
Yeah, new Dishonored.
I mean, ideally Dishonored, but a lot of people were saying the new Prey.
New Prey, I would take that as well.
I mean, I haven't played Prey yet. I need to play that really. But
definitely.
I'm not reading Activision Blizzard. Graham, did you look at the FIFA stuff? Still not FIFA. EA Sports FC. The reveal they did the other day of all the different teams and styles and what have you. Any thoughts and opinions on that?
There's some interesting new bits in there, sort of how you can sort of build your own club legends and stuff in the Ultimate Teams. They've made a big deal about the fact if the objectives in the Ultimate Team that you can have a claim all button, which everyone's going, oh,
so good.
that'll be
So
very
fucking
handy
good.
because they're so slow to sort of claim it one at a time. You're sort of trimming down what could be a 5-minute process into like one click, which would save a whole bunch of time.
Big FIFA holding them back.
Yeah, but yeah,
I don't know if Gray's read the article like that I put in here. Like, I'll fire through it really quick because it is quite lengthy. But they've introduced loads of new mechanics in the game. So things like your through balls, they've completely renovated how they're doing that. It's a more manual process now. So you
see the line, don't you?
Yeah, it's more rewarding so that if it comes off, it's because you made it come off, not just it's computer generated. They've introduced tons of play styles. So different type of strikers will have different type of traits that suit their personality. So a player like Haaland, who is a big sort of intimidating person, he'll have like he's a more power type oriented build. Whereas if you get somebody who's more like a De Bruyne in the midfield, who is a distributor or can ping the ball from outside the box, he'll have certain traits that's tailored to just him. And then it's the same with it goes through basically the whole pitch. Goalkeepers will work differently. Certain defenders will work differently. Certain midfielders. Everything's been overhauled so that each player feels more individual and has the traits that you associate with them in real life instead of just being attribute based. So it seems like they've went really into detail and trying to utilize the full engine of the next gen. I think because they've not came out and said that there won't be there will be a previous gen, but they focus much more on just building the engine for the new game or the new generation.
I'll miss out on that on Ultimate Team money. I suppose it was an EA thing, but I was surprised they're calling it Ultimate Team now. I thought they might have had to change the term somewhat to
EUAT.
Yeah.
It doesn't roll off the tongue, does it?
No. But yeah, so I mean, looking good. When's the release date? One of you? I mean, obviously I know it, but I don't
It's
want
usually
to
late September.
It's not got a date yet, but it'll be sometime in September. Yeah.
Okay. So we've got a little while. So, like I said, we won't be playing anything else in September, so we can go to that. Speaking of not playing anything else in September, a fan of some sort of game called Starfield. Never heard of it. Calculates that spaceships will cost about 64 cheese sandwiches.
It's fucking awesome.
What? I don't know. Feel free to enlighten us, because again.
So basically, what somebody went and done is they went into, or they basically took a screenshot that they had seen in the game, and when they were in one of the menu systems, they seen that one of the sandwiches that you can make up, it was a patty melt, was X amount of currency. So they seen another screenshot that said, so it was like the value was 295 credits or whatever it was called for the sandwich. And then another screenshot said the price of a ship. And they basically worked out that for this amount of sandwiches, you could buy a ship. So obviously, being a Bethesda game, when you buy something, it costs more than what you would sell it for. But what they were basically saying is, based on what this vendor's charging for this patty, if you buy 64 of them, you buy a spaceship. But it was the reason I put it in is, as I said when I popped it up in the chat, is the ship that you can buy, the Fleet Ranger, which is 19,054 credits, holds 49 members of a crew.
Nice. Why that way is wrong.
Yeah, I know. It's not a 69, blah, blah, blah. It's all actor age. So one ship can hold 49 members of crew. That just gives you a rough idea just the scale of this size of game. If you can have a fleet and you've got a ship in your fleet that holds 49 crew members.
But for that many cheese sandwiches?
What, does it even say cheese sandwich?
No, it's like the grilled burger and cheese sandwich is 295 credits.
Oh.
And the ship is like 19,000.
Yeah. That's the thing. It'll cost the same amount to feed them one sandwich each as it was to buy the ship.
Exactly.
A hamburger
some
patty,
left over.
Yeah, a hamburger patty smothered in cheese and grilled on toast, usually served with a side of chipped potatoes. There you go.
I wasn't hungry, but now I am.
Yeah, now I want fucking food.
Give me that digital food.
Give me it.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, we've got 6 weeks to figure out how many hot dogs we need to sell off to afford a spacesuit. But we'll figure it out. We'll do the hard maths for you. Ross will do the maths because I'm rubbish at maths.
Damn right.
We'll figure it out. We'll go with that. And then the final quick hit. This is mainly for Graham, because now he can officially beat the shit and possibly dismember John Cena in the Mortal Kombat 1 DLC. So they've officially confirmed we've got Homelander from The Boys, Peacemaker, which is that's John Cena's character, right? Peacemaker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. And Omni-Man from Invincible, which I think is quite a decent
it's awesome
graphic cartoon type thing. I never actually watched.
It's fantastic. And also just heard today that J.K. Simmons is actually doing the voice lines for Mortal Kombat as well.
Nice,
it wouldn't surprise me.
So
it's got his likeness.
Yeah, so Graham, are you looking forward to taking Sub-Zero's icy axe or Scorpion's spear to John Cena's face at last?
Well, you got to get a couple of Johnny Cage nut punches in on him.
Oh
as well.
yeah, all the nuts.
But how you gonna
see him?
Well, I don't know that, and it's obviously he's wearing his stupid sort of helmet as well.
Yeah, I do find it like fucking funny that they're advertising Mortal Kombat and characters that are actually Mortal Kombat important, like Quan Chi, Ermac, and Takeda, are just sort of pushed off to the side. Like, fuck it, you're not important. Fuck off. We've got John Cena
You
here.
remember these characters?
No
but
one's
also
excited
John
about Quan
Cena. So yeah, so that's coming out at some point. The game is out in September on the 19th, but yeah, the DLC's I think a little bit behind that. But yeah, so finally confirmed that. Yeah, I think that's about it really for the quick hits of the news. Unless anyone else has got anything that they really, really desperately want to bring up this week.
No, it was a properly quiet.
It was a pretty quiet week.
News
Again,
week,
we could talk about Activision Blizzard a little bit more if you want, but I
We
don't
could,
really
or
want
you
to.
could go fuck yourself.
I mean, that sounds like a fucking good idea to me. So let's do that. Let's move on to the rounding of the show then, gentlemen. So I'm going to give you some quick reviews from a wonderful website named xboxtavern.com. I don't know if you heard of it. It's wonderful. You should go check it out. We've got Melon Journey, Bittersweet Memories from Ross H, Ian's achievement buddy. Given 8. It's like an old school like Game Boy era style RPG. Obviously enjoyed it. We've got Enclave HD from Corey, gave it a 7. Got my maquette review, and I think that's it this week. We've got a couple more in the wings sort of ready to come up this week, including obviously the Extra Prime one, which will be up. So yeah, go over to xboxtavern.com and check out some reviews for me. That would be wonderful. But Ian, no, Ross, sorry. Have we got anything coming in to Game Pass? That wonderful service.
2 left to round out the month. So we've got Serious Sam Siberian Mayhem on the 25th of July on console, PC, and cloud. And rounding the month out, you've got Vemba on July 30th on console and PC.
Nice. So there's a good couple of games there. And obviously, we'll get a new list at some point soon from someone other than Larry Herb, obviously, because he's not going to do it anymore.
No!
And Ian, Larry's breaking our hearts, but you've got to do the same. Is anything leaving us at this particular moment in time for Game Pass? Ian, muted, please.
You're muted.
Thank you. Thank you. We've got another 5 games leaving us this month. We've got 2 Point Campus, The Ascent, Expedition Rome, Dreamscape, and the shittest game of the year, well, last year, Marvel Avengers.
The Ascent, we played that, didn't we? That was like the 2.5. That was like the Diablo type camera idea, wasn't it?
Yeah, The Ascent was, yeah.
Yeah, we played that.
Ascent was brilliant, yeah.
Yeah.
And Marvel's
Yeah, I reviewed that, and then we played that for one of our Project Game Pass. It was
Project
decent
Game
enough,
Pass.
wasn't it?
Yep.
Decent enough.
Yeah, Ascent was fun.
Yeah.
Dreamscape,
and-
I think I've played. Marvel's I've played, and that was terrible. And 2 Point Campus, I never did.
2 Point Campus is good. I like the 2 Point games. It takes me back to my theme hospital days and things like that.
Yeah, I did Hospital for a bit, and I was like, no, I can't do Campus.
Yeah,
Roll
I
on
like
Space
the
Islands
idea of
too.
them games, but I can never get into them properly. Even back in the day, like Theme Hark and 2 Point, and 2 Point, sorry. Whatever it was you just said.
Roller
Roller
Coaster
Coaster
Tycoon.
Tycoon.
Yeah,
You just
well,
want to kill everyone in that.
yeah, I like the idea of them. Never really got on with them.
Theme
but
Park
Graham-
World was fantastic.
Graham, we didn't. Well, I suppose we did miss a bit of a story, which I mean, it happened. I think just after we recorded last week.
Oh,
Game
yeah.
Pass and Games of Gold is
Oh.
going away.
I was literally going to mention that. Sort of going to be put out of a job. So
Yeah, I was going to say
We're gonna
Grey's
have to find
Anatomy.
you something else to do. So just very quickly, obviously, Game Pass. Games. Oh, fucking hell. Xbox Live
of
Gold
Gold.
is going away in September. It's going to be replaced with Game Pass Core, which is I think a tenner a month over here, and you get 25 games that they sort of rotate in and out, and
online multiplayer.
multiplayer for that amount, and then for an extra £1 or £2, something stupid like that, you get Game Pass for console, which doesn't include multiplayer but does include the full Game Pass library. Then you get PC Game Pass, and then finally you get Ultimate, which is the only one worth buying. Any thoughts on Game Pass Core before we let Graham give us the Games of Gold? I mean, it seems a bit pointless, but I guess it's for
it's
people with
basically
kids
just-
maybe or something. It might be worth.
I mean,
It's
it's
pointless
basically-
to push people to go to Game Pass.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like you're getting the benefits of the Game Pass, and that's it. And like you're not getting the multiplayer side of it, but you're still getting Game Pass. So
But I thought they confirmed multiplayer was free anyway.
No, multiplayer is included in Core, but not in Game
Yeah.
Pass.
yeah,
But, I mean,
that's
it's
what-
included in general. You don't even need gold anymore, whatever it is. Or core.
No, you still need
You need
something
core.
to play apart from
Not
free
for
to play
like Call
games.
of Duty and no, free to play.
Yeah, free to play. Yeah, but you
free
don't
to
need
play
that.
are
You
fine.
don't need that now. That's been the case for a couple of years at this point.
Yeah, sorry, I
Any-
thought you meant that. No, okay,
No, yeah,
yeah,
any
so
pay-
normal multiplayer you do need. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, which is a bit shit because PC Game Pass doesn't include multiplayer because that's free, but console Game Pass doesn't include multiplayer, but you can't play online apart from free to play stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it seems a bit pointless, but they've also taken away the family plan, which was only in sort of beta or preview or what have you in certain countries, with no sort of time scale for it to come back. So yeah, it seems like a bit of an arse backwards decision, especially with the whole Activision stuff going on. You'd think they
Yeah, this whole
came up rather than.
I really hope they fix out what they're doing with this whole family plan because, like, it makes so much sense. I get obviously they'll maybe need to like reassess it in regards to cost, but I don't know. I just think they'd be silly not to go ahead with it.
Yeah, it's a great idea, and like we said before, like for the 5 of us or 4 of us and one of the other guys, whatever, it'd be fucking perfect. But yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, we'll see. So far, sorry, Graham, we got a bit sidetracked there. Games of Gold. You got this month, and I think there's one. Is there one in September? I think they said, and that's the last one. And then that's it. And then no more free games. Just either the limited Game Pass library or the full fat one, which is well worth the money anyway. So Graham, for almost the final time, what can we pick up if free?
You can pick up Darkwood, which is available until July the 31st, and When the Past Was Around, which will be available until August the 15th.
Yes,
I really hope they have one final good game.
Yeah, imagine they just go out with a bang.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a stamp one at the moment.
Yeah, I know. It's like, a bit depressing.
I mean, it's been underwhelming for a long time, and like I said, and many people have said. So, if they're going to end it, I mean, it's a shame that the gold stuff is going away because that's always been, since day one, that's what's been called, and it's almost like a sort of legacy, like Xbox Live Gold member. Yes, I saw what's his name, Stallion on Twitter, is it? The guy who got the million first or whatever. He's got one of them Live Gold lifetime memberships that he was given by Xbox. And he still keeps it, obviously, but now he's just got the plaque saying Xbox Live Gold. But now it's going to be, I'm a Game Pass Core member for life. Not quite the same.
Yeah,
quite the same ring to it.
It's like, I don't want it.
Bring back the blades. That's what I say. Bring back the blades.
Bring back the blades. So we've got a couple more months of free games and then no more freebies, which again, no big deal. You do get to keep all of your 360 games, even if your subscription lapses, which is good. But any Xbox One games or Series X games that you've redeemed from Games of Gold, if you if you get rid of your subscription, you lose access to them until you renew it, which caused a great big debate in another Discord on part of Hit Points one I mentioned last week. There was quite a few people against that idea and quite a few people explaining it actually doesn't make that much of a difference. But it was good. Goodbye, Games of Gold. Goodbye, Xbox Live Gold.
It was a privilege.
Game Pass Core. It doesn't ring off. Doesn't roll off the tongue.
No, it's not as nice.
No, but anyway, roll off the tongue we must, because it's now time to end this wonderful episode of Xbox Tavern's X-Pod Tavern 125th, which we record every week at 8 p.m.
Yes.
One more in there. Thank you very much. If you made it this far, you're a fucking hero. We love you. You can find us, as Ross said earlier, on all over the place to search for Xbox Tavern. And we'll be back next week for more shenanigans, hopefully a bit more news and more games played. But for now, you can find me. I am Jamie, and I'm Enaxan on everything, just Xbox Live, Twitter, wherever you want to find me. You can find Scottish Ross
at Scottish Gruff.
Milliman Ian.
You can just send a piece to me at Chocolate Bear 80.
Graham.
Graham Reaper.
Yes, thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you next week. For now, goodbye.